Take 3 Wrestling Podcast. It is Thursday, September 21st. It is the date where life without Saquon Barkley didn't suck too much, kind of. It is also a date that will now go down in the wrestling laurels as Black Thursday 2023. It is the Take 3 Wrestling Podcast. I am Fat Nash. I'm joined as always by Fat Hall.
Hey, yo.
His name says Gay Rikishi did it for the, and I can only imagine what the ... stands for. Joe Lopez.
You know, this is going to sound mean. I'm trying to think of a nice way to say this. The funniest part of everything that happened today, and I again, this is mean. I don't mean to be mean. I am who I am. But when Emma tweeted out the excitement about Elimination Chamber being in Australia, and then like 2 hours later was like, nah, never mind, guys. I got fired. Like that was just a kick to the fucking cooch. Like, I feel bad for her for that one. And her husband got fired, too, after that.
Fiance.
It
was broke either way.
Jesus, Joe.
Just saying.
It was hilarious and sad at the same time. Yeah, I think
like you almost wish it had happened to someone that you don't like.
Yeah. And like you don't, obviously
why couldn't Dana Brooke be from Australia? Just saying.
But yeah, it was.
What did Dana Brooke ever do to you?
Made me watch her wrestle on Raw.
Wow.
Way too many times.
You really couldn't wait. We couldn't have Lacey Evans, say that, Battleground or something was coming to, Kentuckyville, USA, and then we could have fired her and she'd have been like, don't go to that show no more.
Didn't Lacey Evans get fired like a few weeks ago?
I think
her contract expired.
Oh, so she got Tony Khan fired. Got it.
Yes.
Like her wrestling skills expired.
I love that's the new way to describe contract expiring. She got Tony Khan fired.
She got Tony Khan fired.
I mean,
she got conned. It's like, you get canned. She got conned.
She got A-conned and Young Jeezy'd.
She did.
Hashtag conned. On today's show, we'll obviously discuss Black Thursday. We also have some references, as you guys saw the title. That bitch strong. You know who we talk about when we talk about that. That's Jade Cargill. We'll talk about her a little bit. I don't remember exactly what the third topic was. I think it was a mixture of the SmackDown mixed with what's gonna happen.
It was Joe's WrestleMania main event topic, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We haven't said a kind of like we had a plan, and then all of a sudden the plan got punched in the mouth.
Oh yeah, don't talk to me about plans and shows. Like for obviously very different reasons, none of them good. For the second time in a month, the whole fucking script for 3CT got thrown out the window. I felt like I was a Monday Night Raw writer. It's like hours before the show, just throw it, get rid of the fucking script.
Light it on fire. We'll start again.
It's fucking useless now. But yeah, I guess are we going into the?
Yeah, I guess let's start with the
ugly stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we can start it as like this day in general. Like we'll talk about it, quote, as Black Thursday. But before the releases began, WWE announced SmackDown's going back to USA for a whopping $1.4 billion.
Whoa, even before that, this morning when I woke up to take a piss, because apparently at 38 years old I can't sleep past fucking 6 a.m. anymore. without my bladder going, hey, what up? But like, I look at my phone, and because it's, whatever the hell time it is in Australia, Elimination Chamber to Australia in February, which is pretty cool.
I'm just glad they're not going to have it in Saudi Arabia anymore, so I can go back to calling it the Elimination Chamber and not the Limoncello Chamber.
You ain't lying. But yeah, so like that's how it started the day, and then it was like this SmackDown news. I'm like, man, this is good. This is a good news day for WWE. They're stealing some of that Grand Slam thunder from last night, and then yikes. And then the news went downhill. Do you have the full list of releases, Mike? You want me to hit them?
I actually don't have it in front of me.
All right, let me pull them up here. Yeah, this now I don't know. I don't believe there's been any more because I probably would have seen it come across the Twitter.
The last ones I saw were
the NXT ones, but this is the list I have. If you have any other ones that I missed, let me know. But it started with Mustafa Ali. He had tweeted out that he was well, first it was that he was longer working for WWE, to which he quickly corrected the tweet saying that he was no longer working for WWE. And then I know I sent it to you guys, Mike. You sent a tweet from Captain Frightful himself, Sean Ross Sapp, that it was an isolated release, and then very quickly deleted said tweet. And then he was all like, "Whoopsie." Just kidding, guys. It's going to be a long day. But these are the releases as of earlier today: Mustafa Ali, Emma, Rick Boogs, Aaliyah, Elias, Riddick Moss, Top Dollar, Shelton Benjamin, Dolph Ziggler, Dana Brooke, Mansois, Massey, Quincy Elliott, Dabakato, Shanky, motherfucker, pouring out for Shanky, Ulisa Leone, Daniel MacArthur, Bryson Montana, and Kevin Ventura Cortez. Daniel MacArthur, I thought, was an insurance broker, and Bryson Montana, I thought, was in the band LFO. I was shocked to learn that they were.
I thought Bryson Montana was a part of the West Texas Rednecks.
For the record, all three members of LFO are dead. Anyway,
wait, are you serious?
Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah, the last one died like a year ago. They all died of like leukemia too. It was really weird.
Bro, sad day. I didn't know that, man.
Yeah. So I have to say though, and to go back a step, I think more surprising than any single one of the releases today, and even more surprising than SmackDown returning to USA, and I say that as someone who doesn't remember that it was ever on USA. I'm being dead ass serious. There's also the news that apparently Raw and NXT might leave USA.
Yeah, I don't necessarily know that you can have all three shows on one cable.
No, and let's be honest,
I think that's a bigger deal. Personally, like Raw leaving USA, like what?
Well, I mean, when you're offered $1.4 billion to move your Friday primetime show.
But also, let's keep in mind that NBC Universal is also still considered a leading candidate to land SmackDown or to Raw and or NXT, so that because there's potential talks that Raw might end up on NBC primetime.
We are going through a writer's strike, so we might need something new for that Monday night lineup.
Well, but even beyond that, like even beyond that, like they don't like NBC they don't have a ton of sports. Like they have Sunday Night Football, so they're not going to go on a Sunday night. They have Saturday night college football, so they're not going to go there.
Notre Dame,
but in the Big Ten. But like then the beyond that, it's you can work around it. Like instead of doing the voice on Monday and Tuesday, you do the voice on Tuesday and Wednesday. And just restructure other shows around it. So like, not saying that's what's going to happen, but yeah, like there's still a lot of buzz around where I know Tim said that there was the rumor out there that Monday Night Raw might end up on Amazon Prime,
I heard that today.
and
Yeah.
commercial free on Amazon Prime. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of moving parts. We are in a streaming world now. I know there's some talk even that they may move Raw off of Monday night, which will break my fucking brain. I don't know
Yeah,
how
I'm not okay with that.
yeah, that'd be like ESPN being like, yeah, or the NFL being like, hey, you guys know Monday Night Football? It's now Tuesday Night Football. Go fuck yourself.
Right.
Go fuck yourself, National Football League.
The only reason I could see them moving it off of Mondays is if it ended up on like ESPN. And I don't know that that's out of the realm of possibility because apparently ABC, Disney is one of the talked about potential suitors for the show. So if they got it, I think it would kind of make sense for it to end up on ESPN if it doesn't end up on just ABC proper. Which even if it did end up on ABC proper, they probably wouldn't counter program it to football
yeah,
in their own
you're not
family.
gonna you're not gonna spend that money to work in competition to Monday Night Football.
Right, exactly. It'd be interesting. And I forget what podcast, I think I might have been listening to Busted Open today, but they pointed out too that, UFC already has a deal where they air on ESPN. So again, not out of the realm of possibility given TKO existing now and Endeavor and all that.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of potential moving parts there for sure. But yeah, I mean it's with the releases, and I say this as sensitively as I can.
Wait, hold on. We say things sensitively on this show?
Well, I do. Joe doesn't for
All
sure.
right. Just asking, just trying to poll the audience real quick.
I don't do anything sensitively, just for the record.
I'm gonna let that go.
Jesus Christ.
But with the releases, like none of them really surprised me. Like Dolph Ziggler is the one that people are like, this dude felt like a lifer. But like maybe he was maybe he's done wrestling. I don't know. Like, I mean, the Nemeth brothers competing against FTR could be fun and all, but like Dolph hasn't wrestled much in the last couple of years. He's done like the little thing in NXT, and stuff like that, and he's done a couple of like spot feuds, but like he hasn't done a ton. So like I feel like he was starting to kind of wind his career down anyway. And like if he would have gotten released in like the last couple of rounds of releases, I don't think I would have been totally shocked by it. But yeah, none of the other names are all that shocking. Like it felt like this was a day. And again, I feel bad for everybody who lost their job. Like this isn't me trying to disparage that part of it, but like nobody that got released today, I went, oh my God, how could they do that?
Right.
Like it was just kind of like, yeah, they haven't really been using Emma. They haven't been using Riddick Moss. They haven't been using Elias. Like it felt like a corporation trimming spending. Like that's literally what it just felt like to me.
The only one that I would say that I was overly surprised with, and it's because he was kind of like had like a rocket ship strapped to him going into WrestleMania 38 until he blew his knee out, and that was my good friend Rick Boogs. That one kind of surprised me because the thing is they kind of like tried to pair him up with Elias, and then the rumor, like the rumbling, was Elias's contract kind of came up and didn't renew it, and now he's technically been released or whatever the fuck we're calling it. I thought Boogs was somebody that you could have sent down to NXT, given him a new gimmick, and he could have been, all pun intended, electric as part of the Black and Gold brand. But it's just one of those where, like, I'm not surprised that it happened, but it's like he's the one where I'm like, well, they could have. Like, is him getting time or is Jeep Wagoneer getting time? Like 6 of one, half dozen of the other to me. We talked, me and you, Jim, in the group chat. I wouldn't have been surprised if this was the swan song of Gable Steveson.
Yeah, and that hasn't happened, at least not yet.
So like none of the guys that and Massey and Mansois, the writing's been on the wall for them since they moved Maxine to Alpha Academy, unfortunately. And those guys, I was at a show in Sunrise, or the home of the Florida Panthers, at a house show, and the stuff they did was fantastic, hilarious, fun stuff, and they got strapped with a really bad gimmick and had a lot of fun with it, and it sucked that it ended the way that it did. But that gimmick, I think, is the same problem that I have with some of the other gimmicks that have come out of, or should have stayed in NXT. Elias, that Drifter character worked so well in NXT. I feel like the Maximum Male Models would have worked so much better in NXT. It's why Breezango worked well. It's why, with the whole going back down there. So it's just I don't necessarily know. Like, I feel like they were cursed from the very beginning. I guess my only question when it comes to the releases, and this is where I'm gonna, then I'll let Joe say something. Do you think that when they fired Emma, after they said, hey, we're gonna let you go, is Riddick there? Can we talk to him too? Do you think they did it all in one fell swoop, or do you think they called him separately?
I'd like to think that they let her hang up and then they just called her right back.
Okay, so they're like, hey,
they're like, oh shit, I forgot to can you put me on speaker? Just put me on speaker.
I think this will go better this way. You know what? We're just gonna let both of you go. Joe. All right, maybe Joe died. So the Wall Street Journal, you sent this article that Endeavor, solid Q4, but there was a shit ton of UFC debt. That may have played a role in some things. Is this, do you think, them trimming the fat of everything, or do you think this was, we got a shot to save a couple dollars because we can get rid of some people that we're not using? I mean, I don't want to say that WWE is going to have to keep pinching pennies to make up for the UFC's loss, but
yeah, and that's going to be the tricky thing with WWE no longer being WWE, right? Like, WWE is now a property of TKO with a 51% owner share by Endeavor. So life becomes a lot trickier now. So yeah, that was the report, is that, there was a lot of outstanding debt with UFC, which impacted TKO's decision here. What my hope is that WWE isn't always going to be the one that
has to sacrifice,
gets the short end of the stick on these things. Like, was it a situation of like TKO's looking at the books and they're going like, man, there's a lot of UFC debt here, and like you get Dana White together and be like, hey Dana, and you get Vince and you're like, hey Dana and Vince, like,
we got to trim
what can we do here? Like, we gotta make some stuff. We gotta cut some dollars. WWE's like, hey, we have a lot of talent on the roster and we're not using a lot of them. I think these 15 to 20 are expendable. Which sounds horrible to say, because these are people and these are their lives and their jobs, but unfortunately in a corporate environment, I get it. It's even shittier that it's the same day where they announce a $1.4 billion deal for SmackDown and 4 primetime NBC specials. But the sad reality is this is how business is. This is how corporate America is. Like when you have companies like this, you make money by cutting money. Like, and it stinks, but yeah, I mean, again, Rick Boogs, especially post injury, had a shelf life. Elias had a shelf life. Aaliyah had a shelf life. Dana Brooke, there was potential there.
The first 3 names you mentioned, injury plagued, and injury plagued.
Yeah, and that's honestly that's how some of those decisions get made.
I kind of hate to be that guy. I kind of hate to be the kind of the asshole when it comes to that. But you got rid of 3 people who have proven that they can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
Hold on. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson posted a tweet about 45 minutes ago. I want to read it out to you so that you can hear this. I don't know if you saw it, but for those of you at home, Rock said this: "Just seeing all the releases now these days, so effing tough for the ones who give their all to our crazy world of pro wrestling, like @heel Ziggler. What a decorated WWE career, and I'll always be a supporter and fan. Can't wait to see what he," and then he puts in quotations, "and everyone does next. #onward." There's a picture that Sportskeeda did. 1,554 total matches on TV for Dolph Ziggler, 3rd most in WWE history.
Damn.
2-time world champion, 1-time NXT champion, 6-time IC champion, 2-time US champion, 4-time tag champ, 1-time Money in the Bank winner, over 19 years in the World Wrestling Entertainment property.
Yeah, he's been there a long time, and
Joe might be back. I think he unmuted himself. Since I can kind of see that.
You with us, Joe?
Yeah, I'm here. I didn't even realize I wasn't inside the thing.
Yeah, no, because you just kind of went silent there for a few minutes.
No, you're good. I was doing work. So one thing I wanted to say, just to go back a step, when I was trying to interject earlier, they were also saying on Busted Open today, Elias would be great for the NWA. And I think that goes exactly to the point that you were saying about why his character works so well in NXT, where it didn't necessarily always work the same way on the main roster. So I thought that was kind of interesting, and I think that definitely does go to your point, Mike. So when it comes to Ziggler, like, let's be honest, he wasn't doing anything anymore in WWE. And that's not... Like, I love the guy. I like watching the guy wrestle. I'm more than sure he's going to end up on Wednesday nights or Saturday nights or Friday nights. Like, he's going to end up in AEW. If he doesn't end up there, I'm sure he'll end up in Impact. Like, he's gonna go somewhere if he wants to. If he's choosing to let this be the end, if he chooses to retire, more power to him. But he's not the guy that's not going to land on his feet somewhere because, I mean, he's just so proven as such a great talent. But that said, at a certain point, yeah, you're not being used. I mean, WWE is a business. It's a company. They can't just keep people employed forever because, well, you did something for us once 10 years ago. At some point, you cut your losses and you move on. And that's for everybody. Because I'm sure if Ziggler is healthy and wants to be wrestling, he'd rather be wrestling than just sitting at home doing nothing or in catering.
Yeah, and I mean, I always find that like a strange juxtaposition with wrestling fans on days like today, because for years we've seen, like the Mustafa Ali getting his release was not surprising if it was an isolated or not. This is something I think he's requested numerous times. And what's funny is, like, on days where we've seen him tweet, "I asked for my release today and they didn't give it to me." Then, like, we see the tweets of people like, "Oh, WWE's just holding people hostage again." But then you get days like today, and it's like, well, WWE's evil because they're releasing talent. You can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. Either WWE is evil for just holding people and not giving them the opportunity to work somewhere, or WWE is, is they're doing the right thing by releasing people. It's I always find days today interesting in the reactions to days
So
like today.
if they would have come out today and been like, these guys' contracts expired, we've released Mustafa Ali and like the grizzled young vets, I'd have looked at them and been like, all right, standard Thursday. The guys that don't want to be there anymore, they've kind of let them go, and the guys who they're not re-signing, they've kind of let them, let everybody know that we're not moving forward with them. But then it was like Shelton.
So is one method? I hate to use the word, but
No method is a good method.
Is one method better than the other? Because, like, WWE will release people from their contract early. Now, in some cases, like Elias and even reportedly Ziggler, like there's not
his
total
contract was up.
There's not total clarity of whether or not his contract was up or not. But obviously with other people, they're being fired, they're being released early. Or is the Tony Khan method better, where you don't feature Sonny Kiss on TV for a year and a half, and then when their contract expires, you just make a statement in a presser about how Sonny Kiss is no longer with the company.
Am I allowed to play both sides of the fence?
I mean,
because the way that I would look at it is people are going to look at it as you sign them to a contract, you should honor their contract. But then you have the people that don't want to be there anymore, that have asked for their releases, and we're not letting them go whenever they immediately ask for their release. So it's like, I don't think that there's a good way or bad way to deal with it. I think it's just kind of part of the business.
Yeah.
And I almost want to say, like, we look at the professional wrestling business as something that it's different than any other business. If there's someone that's not producing, if there's someone that's not being useful, if there's someone that, like, companies will move on from people. Like, you sign a contract to work a job. If you aren't making your numbers 3, 4, 5 months into a 1-year contract with someone, there's a strong chance they move on from you. It is, unfortunately, we don't look at professional wrestling. We look at professional wrestling two ways. We look at it as sport. And when we think of sport, we think of football, where you sign Christian McCaffrey to a 5-year contract. Christian McCaffrey is going to be a member of the San Francisco 49ers for the next 5 years, unless you trade him, you cut him because he does something stupid or he gets hurt, or he retires. Like, you just kind of pencil in that every Sunday you're going to see Christian McCaffrey running on the field wearing a fucking 49ers jersey. But that's not the way that professional wrestling is ran. Just because you sign someone to a 5-year contract, same thing. If they get hurt, you could release them. If they do something stupid, you could release them. If they're not performing to the levels that you want them, you can release them. It's like we almost forget that that's an option. Like,
well, we forget too, like with wrestling, is like you don't fall in love with Colby Daniel Lopez.
Nope.
You fall in love with Seth Rollins.
Correct.
You fall in love with these characters, and these characters are brought into your home each and every week. On Mondays, on Tuesdays, on Wednesdays, Fridays, Saturday.
Any day that ends in Y, basically.
Basically. Like, you fall in love with these characters, and then these characters are gone. Sometimes it's out of nowhere, whether it's they're written off TV, where they're released, or what have you. So like so many times, a lot of the feelings that wrestling fans speak on, it comes from a place of being a fan, and part of being a fan is fanatical. Like that's the long form of the word, right? Like fan is short for fanatic, which means you're not always thinking logically there.
It is interesting though. In a weird way, this almost becomes like an opportunity to see exactly who's popular and who's not. Because I tell you, there were plenty of tweets and mentions about Dolph Ziggler. I mean, The Rock even went out there and said something about Dolph Ziggler. I didn't see anybody being all sad that Aaliyah got released. I didn't see a big outcry about Dana Brooke. Just say it.
I mean, honestly, the only person that I've really seen a tweet from somebody of merit, aside from, oh, I really like what this person was doing, has been The Rock about Ziggler. And if there's somebody that you look at, and I read the tweet that The Rock said, and, you know, the guy has the third most TV matches in WWE history. There's a reason why people are going to be here today talking about Dolph Ziggler and not talking about Aaliyah. Let's be real. She could have been Charlotte Flair, but she's injury prone. She couldn't stay in the ring. Those are problems. And it's why you're able to trim certain people from the roster. Elias, great character development, great work with some of the stuff that he did. But then you put him out in front of 14 or 15,000 fans every day and every night in a different place, and the character didn't transition well, and he didn't do anything to change it. And they're like, hey, let's be Ezekiel. That went over like a fucking
wait, Ezekiel got fired too?
Yeah. Silent release. His contract also expired.
Oh, that's messed up. How you gonna fire two brothers?
Downside guarantees.
Damn, that's colder than they did Emma.
What's the dilemma?
What?
Dial Emma. Dilemma.
Oh,
Got him.
Man, boo this
Got
man.
him. Yeah, I got the intern mark out of me.
Boo this man.
But I guess the thing here is, aside from Ziggler, the only name that I'm actively surprised about was Shelton, because of this. We may bring the Hurt Business back, we may not. Now it's like, are we just going to move forward with the Profits and Bob? Is Cedric going to get thrown in there now?
Bob!
Like, I haven't watched SmackDown in a while, so I don't know if
Black Thursday turn into Black Friday, and we release a couple more tomorrow, and is Cedric going to be one of those that, you know, falls on that sword?
Well, I'm not. I'm certainly.
I'm obviously not rooting for that, but
I'm not going to even really speculate on it. But like, I don't know if it has.
If I had to guess, I think, and this is the difference between a guy like Cedric and a guy like Sheldon, it's literally just youth. Honestly, like you keep a guy like Cedric around. Well, no, because like you keep a guy like Cedric around because you might not be doing anything with him, but he's really talented in the ring and he's fairly young. And if nothing else, you need guys to lose. You know, you need guys to go out there and put on good matches where they're not going to win. Cedric can do that. And yes, Shelton can do that too. But Shelton is also, like 85 years old now? I don't actually know how old he is. Black don't crack. So I really can't actually guess how old that man is. But I feel like he's been wrestling forever. So
I'm looking right now. Shelton Benjamin is the tender age of 48.
45.
I'm going to say he just turned 48.
Yep. July 9th, 48.
You know,
he made his debut almost 24 years ago.
Yeah, dude, like it sucked. I feel like he just had like some sort of like 20th anniversary of his first like Raw match or something, but like the anniversary was like on Main Event, and I'm like, that's the saddest fucking thing I've ever heard.
Can we talk about how he was like a really big act in New Japan? Because like he could always go back there.
Unreal career. But like, yeah, I feel like the Lashley version of the Hurt Business or whatever it is, like I feel that's gonna be like him and the Profits. I still feel we're gonna get Bianca in there or Jade. Like, let's be honest, like you really like are both of them Bianca and Jade?
I would Cargill to Raw. I would not put her on SmackDown.
Well, I mean, well, if and I get we're a year away from it, but
exactly, you put her
that's
on Raw
about
for
to
this
become your
year,
flagship program on cable TV.
but you put her on Raw for a year and you move her over to SmackDown.
But again, you know, so I feel like Bob's version of Bob's version of the Hurt Business is not going to include Shelton and was never going to include.
It's obviously never going to.
Oh,
it's not going to include Shelton now, bud.
I don't think it ever was though. Like because like that whole thing was kind of like they kind of put the lid on that, and you know we're moving on it from it anyway. So I don't think they were ever going to be included in whatever this faction is going to be. But yeah, nothing surprised me. It's a business. It's a business cutting cost. It sucks. I feel bad for the people who lost their job. I think everybody, for the most part, that wants to is going to land on their feet somehow. Obviously, for these NXT talents, you know they're going to probably hit the indies. And good luck to them. For everybody else, I think there's going to be spots, but
the last question before I'm done with the Black Tuesday. Do you think that any of the Respectfullies open up a Respectfully page?
God, I hope so.
Respectfully.
It guess depends how the wrestling bookings start rolling in.
Respectfully.
I mean, and
for the record,
they have 90 days.
There's not a single one of those male wrestlers released today whose OnlyFans I would subscribe to.
You wouldn't subscribe to Riddick Moss's?
No, I'm good.
Really?
I'm good. Call me when Hook and Nick Wayne start OnlyFans pages.
Buddy, you're putting yourself in a real bad spot here.
Why?
Just because they open one and say that they're 18 doesn't mean that they are 18. You can get yourself in some real trouble with this, my guy.
I'm pretty sure he couldn't wrestle on AEW TV if he wasn't.
Buddy,
18.
they make fake IDs. Next thing you know, Chris Hansen's about to walk into Bonefish Grill and be like, "Joe, you have a seat."
You really think that Tony Khan would be like, "Oh wow, fake ID, I'm gonna let you wrestle"? I don't think he would. I'm just putting that out there. I think I'm safe on this one.
Tony looks at their IDs and sees 13 different numbers for the year because he's so coked out of his mind that his eyes are moving at 1,000 miles a minute. He thinks that it says the age on the license. He sees the 19. And he's like, "Oh yeah, he's definitely able." 20, even though he was born in 2000. Yeah, he's 20. We're good.
See that report where he like bragged about how like he worked 80 hours a week before Collision and now he's like well into like the 110s. I'm like, my God, that's not something to brag about. Like that's not.
How much cocaine are you doing?
That's not a win. Like you're
There's like 100.
You're young now and you're riding on that. Yeah, you're riding on that wave.
He said he works 100 and how many hours?
It's well over 100. He said 100 hours a week.
Cool. So there's 168 hours in a week, and he's working 100 of them.
Yeah,
that's healthy.
I mean, either he's embellishing the shit out of it, or
that's healthy as fuck,
dude. And again, like I get like there's all of those reports about like how Vince McMahon would sleep for like 2 hours a night. Well, like Vince, I don't think is the healthiest person in the entire world.
Did either of you guys see the worst video of all time that I saw this morning?
Oh, the dance.
Oh my God, it was so bad.
Wait, what is it?
Like I know it looks bad, but first off, like that kind of shit, it bothers me when people share that kind of shit. And I mean, we're just in that world now. But like in
what
theory,
are we talking about?
Tony Khan
did the Daniel Garcia last night after Dynamite went off the air.
Oh, okay, hold on.
That shit's never meant to be seen by anybody but people in the arena. Like that's just kind of the like I actually don't mind that at all because if you don't
no, I don't mind it, but him doing the dance.
Oh,
It may be the worst thing I've ever
I
seen in
assume,
my life.
Vince McMahon, even 40 years ago, would have looked about exactly the same. Like, and Vince would have done that in a heartbeat.
We actually have Vince McMahon doing a dance. It's called Stand Back. We actually have a music video of him doing a really bad dance.
Which Triple H imitated.
Exactly. Probably did better than Vince did.
Oh, without
I
question.
would not be mad if Tony Khan put out a music video right now. I'm just putting that out there. I would not be upset about it.
That into the universe.
I
But yeah, it
Yep.
sucks.
Joe, I sent it to you.
will watch accordingly.
I hope that this is the only day of any sort of releases. But to those that did get released, we certainly hope that you land on your feet and you do well.
Oh, absolutely. T's and P's to all those that got released. Hopefully, we get back on your feet. All right, let's move on.
So wait,
We have more to talk.
does Tony Khan have any kids? Because his hip movements are suggesting he does not.
I don't think so.
I don't believe so. I don't believe so.
You watched the TikTok or the video. That's so good.
I literally just watched it. By the way,
It's so bad.
since we just went 41 minutes on Black Thursday, if y'all want to move my topic to next week, I'm okay with that. My topic has a whole 5 months before
that's
isn't
fine.
relevant.
That's a very evergreen topic, so we will likely bounce that one to
till at least April. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we'll bounce that one. That one will be fine.
That bitch strong. All right, let's talk Jade Cargill. Life after Jade in AEW. If you would have polled me before the year started, you can see my Phantom bingo board up here. I would not have had Jade Cargill on my AEW homegrown to be the first to go to WWE. She was not on that big board. Like if this was Las Vegas with the betting odds, she wouldn't have been on there. But
no.
I think we all agree that she was inevitably WWE bound, but I didn't think it'd be this early.
Yeah, she felt like hell. She felt like a WWE superstar inside the AEW universe
when she debuted.
But here's the deal: everybody wants to kill WWE when they miss on a talent or let somebody go that you're very shocked by. I mean, here's the thing again, today, Dolph Ziggler, people were like, how can they let Dolph go? He was there forever. And again, he was, but maybe Dolph just didn't want to do it anymore. But how do you let, this would have been like WCW, letting Goldberg walk to WWE, right after the streak ended.
Mm-hmm.
Do the streak, then it ends. You lose one more match, and then you go to WWF. Could you imagine that? And I get we're in a very different time, so I'm not truthfully trying to compare the two, but that would have been unreal, right? That's how they were building this Jade Cargill run, and then all of a sudden they're just we good. Go, you can go wherever you want to go.
The thing is. So wait, was her contract up? Did her contract expire?
Came up and Tony opted to not renew.
So, he opted to not renew. This wasn't a Jade decision.
Or it was a both.
I mean, I think it was more of a I don't want to do this for you anymore. So if you're gonna renew my contract, I'm not coming back.
Okay.
I think what I think was, and it's come out that they talked her into losing to Statlander again.
I'm not surprised.
And what I would say is,
her, you mean probably threw a lot of money at her?
No. I honestly, I think someone with some experience in the wrestling business probably said, for the betterment of your future, doing business on the way out is probably the right thing to do.
True.
you know, and I think that was more of like a thank you to Tony, because without Tony Khan, he's just a really cool version of Storm that can't wrestle.
So here's one thing that occurred to me earlier when we were talking about the Jade Cargill stuff. Do you guys realize that her first WWE match, if they wanted to do this, could literally be a rematch of her first AEW match?
Her versus Brandy.
Her and Shaq versus Cody and Brandy.
Oh shit!
All the players are available. Shaq's a free agent. Shaq has wrestled in WWE before. Shaq is gettable. Cody and Brandy are there. You can do that shit. And you can do that shit and be like, fuck you, Tony Khan. I'm doing it at WrestleMania or SummerSlam or something.
That would be comical as shit. If they did that at WrestleMania.
Cody's story was actually getting his wife her win back against fucking Jade Cargill.
Yes.
It wasn't beating Roman Reigns. It was getting the win back for Brandy. I fucking get it now. He has to finish the story.
Yeah, Brandy gets the pin, and Cody just goes, "Story finished," and like drops the mic and walks off. We're like, what?
The real story was Dusty and Sapphire versus Randy and Elizabeth. That's what he's finishing.
Jesus Christ.
That's the real story.
He just compared Brandy Rose to Sapphire.
That happened.
Oh, it's so bad.
It's
the son of a plumber, baby. Honestly, I don't think we're waiting till WrestleMania for the debut of Jade Cargill.
Oh no.
Jade, the generation of Jade. Sorry, Cora Jade. You may get a new name coming out of this when you debut on the main roster.
She'll just be Cora. Sure,
because that's cool.
Give her a backpack and she can be Cora the Explorer.
Jesus fucking Christ.
That's it. That's a great gimmick.
Fucking Christ.
That's a great gimmick.
I should have seen that coming. I'm so mad at myself.
The minute you said, God damn it.
I'm the same person that earlier today suggested that Shanky and Val Venus become a tag team called Shanky Panky.
That is true. That did happen.
I'm on a roll today. Call me Salami because I am on a roll.
I hate it.
The minute you said
she'll
just be Cora, and I go, God damn it, Jim. Because I knew it was coming.
Knew it.
She even kind of looks like her. Tell me she doesn't kind of look like her. And fucking, somehow, what's his face? Fucking Scripps or whatever his name is still has a job there. Just make him Diego. It's fine.
Oh my God.
No.
Scripps. It's like intern Mark, but with racism.
Yeah, Scripps is actually actually, hold on. Who's gonna play the role of Boots?
Oh my God.
Because I would actually have either Angel or Humberto play the role of Diego.
Who would play Boots?
I don't want to sound bad. So I really don't know. I'm polling the audience.
Yeah, I'm not touching that one. Yeah. Tweet at us at Take 3 Wrestling. The number 3, never the word 3. Get in trouble, we won't.
Yep. I thought about it for a minute and I was like, ooh, maybe I shouldn't poll the audience. Joe's about to say something real stupid. I should have done that.
But here's the thing, life for AEW, life after Jade, I feel like it goes on because we've already seen life after Jade. She's been gone for months. And the women's roster has revolved around Britt and Ruby Riot or Ruby Soho or whatever the fuck.
Soho'd.
Tony Storm and Saraya and that's been the primary thing. And then Chris Statlander has carried the TBS title and defended it on Friday nights at 10 p.m. And like I feel like that, you know, the company has already started moving in you know, in a post Jade world. So I think we've already seen what it looks like. And it's just more women's matches that are less than 10 minutes long. Jade's match the same way, but like at least she was a spectacle. Now it's not even that.
No. I'll also say that looking at, you know, life after the Jade Cargill experience, are we actually going to get, like, is Saraya going to defend the title more? Like, is her neck going to be able to hold up?
I don't know, man.
That match last night against Toni Storm, chin up, tits out, McGee over here, or whatever the fuck her gimmick is now. I just and I watched that entire match, and it felt at points where, and I think it's because you never really feel comfortable after an injury like that.
Yeah.
But she just didn't look comfortable at points in that match. So it was nice to have that moment. And maybe Wrestle Dream is where, you know, we kind of tip the cap on that run, and, you know, we let her go back to doing other stuff. You know, so if that's the case, like, I don't think it's the end of the world for the women's division in AEW. But life after Jade, I think a year ago, I would have told you somebody pressed the panic button, because there really wasn't a lot in that women's division a year ago. You know, that was pre-Saraya. That was just the very beginning of Toni Storm and Ruby Soho. You know, and the thing here is we also have more people that are wrestling as part of the Ring of Honor roster that they have access to. The Willow Nightingales, the Sky Blues, the Kiera Hogans, the Renegade Twins, stuff like that. So if you're fearful that just because Jade Cargill isn't there, they still have the big names to be the face of the division. They have the Britt Bakers, they have the Chris Statlanders, they have the Sarayas.
Who's that jump off the page larger than life star? Because Britt's been there from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Saraya didn't move the needle. Toni Storm didn't move the needle. Ruby Riott didn't move the needle. Like, that was the thing about Jade, is she transcended that company.
I don't think that person's on the roster yet.
And that's the problem, right?
But I think she's coming, and I think it's in Seattle, and she'll be worth all the money.
Okay.
Because that is a New Japan.
That's a good point.
AEW.
Is she healed?
I don't know. I don't need her in a match. But if she shows up,
that's true. Here's the thing about her, though. That's a Band-Aid. That's a Band-Aid on a wound. Because I don't think she's, I said it when she signed with New Japan, I don't think she's a long-term anywhere. I think she's gonna come into AEW and she's gonna work a program or two like she did in New Japan. And then I think she's gonna move on, because I think she still wants to wrestle in Mexico. I mean, under AEW, you can get that.
I was going to say, I think she has a better shot of doing that under an AEW contract than she did anywhere else. I also think she was supposed to do more in New Japan prior to the ankle going out.
Well, that's true.
Because I personally think she was supposed to win the New Japan Strong Women's Championship until the ankle went out, and she, in the ring, told Willow to powerbomb her and win the match.
Without question, she was winning that.
So I think that's something. And another, like, so, and here's the thing. Is she the attraction of Jade Cargill? No. Because nobody in AEW in the women's division will get the entrances that Jade Cargill got.
Well, but from that looks like Jade. There's nobody in the business that looks
correct.
Like Jade.
But from a wrestling perspective and a wrestling fan perspective, what's the biggest name that you can get to patch that hole. It's Mercedes Moné. And I think that's the thing. You're not going to close that wound, but if you can patch it and make it survivable, then you do it by giving you a wrestler who in ring is going to be fantastic. Because that's the one thing.
That's true. I'll give you that.
Jade wasn't the greatest in ring wrestler. It was the spectacle. So that doesn't really fit whenever the person who's the women's champion really can't take a bump from a person who is not really the safest in the ring.
A quarter of Jade's size as well. Like,
but Saraya can go in there and be the antagonistic heel against a Mercedes Moné, or she could drop the title to somebody, and post match Mercedes comes out and basically is making it known that you're on borrowed time because I'm coming for that title too. That's why I think Mercedes, from the standpoint of if you're going to star power replace Jade Cargill, I think she's the answer. From a look and a size and a spectacle standpoint, there's nobody out there. Jade Cargill is one of one. Yeah. So at this point, I need to focus my women's division on the in-ring perspective. I need to go out there and I need to have good women's matches. I need to have multiple women's matches on my show. I can't keep doing this one fucking match at the 9 o'clock hour every fucking show. Like, I got too many good in-ring talent to be doing this. But coming out of Grand Slam, I thought, okay, maybe she debuts there because we saw her at All Out. And then it clicked to me earlier today when she didn't show up. I was like, okay, Wrestle Dream makes the most sense because it's a thing because of it's the tribute to Inoki.
Yeah.
And if you're already gonna have some talent there, if you're already gonna have some people from management from the New Japan side, they're gonna be there. It almost makes too much sense.
Yeah.
Like to me, Wrestle Dream, I feel like that's where Eddie Kingston drops the strong title to somebody.
Yeah. Yeah.
New Ring of Honor World Champion. He doesn't need both titles. And I feel like this is just that's a safe assumption. I feel like you're going to get somebody versus FTR or Aussie Open for the tag titles. No, that is the tag title match at there. And Aussie Open's a team that wrestled in New Japan for a very long time. So, wouldn't be surprised if there's some kind of title change there, especially with them having the New Japan roots and stuff like that. But looking at, life after Jade, I think you sit back and you tell yourself the women's division on a whole will be fine. But Tony has to change his view on the women's division now. It can't be, I have Jade Cargill who has to go out there and just decimate people and run through them and have 7-minute matches. I need to let the girls have some time. I need to let them build. I need to have the next 2, 3, 4 people built up. Willow Nightingale, Sky Blue. They're wrestling on Ring of Honor every night or every week. They're guys. Those are 2 girls that in the next couple months could be major players in your women's division. But you got to give them the time in front of the crowd. And I think that's the thing here coming out of Jade Cargill. When Jade was on that roster, you knew that you were getting a Jade Cargill segment because Jade Cargill was such a talent. You had to get her on the show.
Right.
Now you have a little bit of time until I'm not going to say inevitably because there's still a chance that Mercedes Moné is not a member of this roster come October.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing a dart at the wall trying to fill a hole. But this is the point where you have to look at this roster and go, all right, that segment that was hers this week, I'm going to give it to Sky. Next week, I'm going to give it to whomever. We got to find who's that next AEW homegrown talent that we can sink our teeth into and say that it's ours, because it was Jade Cargill and Jade's not there anymore.
Yeah. And Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think that person's there, and I think they need to think about that quick because Saraya has a shelf life. Um, you know, and how long can we do the Brit gimmick before it really gets old? So there's a lot of questions with that division. On the alternates, are we good with this one?
Yeah, I mean, well, just because you mentioned Britt Baker, heel turn soon.
I hope so.
Okay,
I feel like they've tried that before and it didn't work.
I at this point, just have her and Adam turn on MJF.
Yeah.
Join Roderick Strong, join Bennett, Taven, and Maria. Let's just have a Super Kingdom and just move the fuck on about it.
Yeah. So obviously the other side of this Jade Cargill question topic is we're under the belief, and I 100% agree with it, that she is WWE bound. There's been reports she was at the Performance Center this week. Whether she's officially under contract or not, we will not know until she appears on WWE TV. That's obviously not going to.
They're not going to put out a press release about that one, Chief.
No, that's going to be, Rhea gets attacked in the ring.
I mean, it could be this Monday, the Becky Lynch Open Challenge for the.
I honestly thought we were getting her this past Monday, when she did the Open Challenge, or possibly on Tuesday as well. But yeah, it's gonna happen. She's gonna be in WWE. But if you're holding the book, if you're holding the pencil, if you're head of creative, how are you introducing Jade Cargill to the WWE?
Well, honestly, I this one's kind of challenging because I feel like there's a couple of different ways you could do it. So I try to get myself untangled here. So I really don't want her first feud to be Rhea Ripley, so I think I'm gonna not go that route. I think the safest first feud for her is Becky Lynch. If she's gonna be on the red side of things, the blue side of things. Who's the champion on SmackDown right now? Io Sky.
Yeah,
they're kind of heels, so it doesn't really make sense. You know what? Fuck it. I have her debut tomorrow night. I have Asuka win the title from Io tomorrow night because I think they have a title match tomorrow night. I would have Asuka win. Bailey and Io have a malfunction at the junction. While Asuka's celebrating and they're retreating, I would bring Jade out either through the crowd or something and just murk Asuka.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the thing. It's going to have to be some sort of.
If she goes to Raw, and answers the Open Challenge, that gives us a chance to see the production of an entrance for her, which I think would be cool too. But yeah, I don't want her against Rhea Ripley right off the rip. I don't want her coming in and being like, "Oh, look, I'm fighting for the world title." Because I think Rhea and Judgment Day have so much more to do with all of them having titles, and I don't think she should be the first crack in the foundation.
No, I don't either. Here's the quiet part that nobody wants to say out loud. Jade Cargill needs to go to NXT first. Whether she gets introduced on Raw or not, Jade Cargill needs some time in NXT. She is not, we've talked about her matches in AEW. She is not WWE ring main roster ready. She's not. That's not a slight on her. It's just factual. So here's what I would do. I mean, you have a NXT premium live event next Saturday night. No Mercy.
Are you gonna make her the muscle for Tiffany Stratton?
No.
Oh, I was about to say, please God, don't
No.
Shawn Michaels and Diesel me this.
But Becky's defending in an Extreme Rules match.
That's why I thought you were going that route.
Becky Lynch should not lose clean to Tiffany Stratton.
Wait, you don't like Tiffy time?
I love Tiffy time.
Okay, just making sure.
Respectfully. I love Tiffy time. But Becky Lynch should not lose clean to Tiffy time.
Okay, I don't disagree.
Or if she does, Jade could come out and attack her. But here's honestly what I would do. I would have Becky win next Saturday at No Mercy. And then I would have Becky come out on Raw the following and do another open challenge. And that's where I would introduce Jade Cargill. And then I think Jade beats Becky. And again, it's I go back to the SummerSlam 2021 argument when Becky surprised Bianca.
Mm-hmm.
Becky doesn't get hurt by a surprise loss to Jade Cargill because who this bitch?
That bitch strong.
That bitch strong. So you see the performance, you see the production on your biggest.
I don't hate it.
On your biggest show, your flagship show.
I was gonna say flagship, not biggest.
Yeah, that's true. I guess
they paid $1.4 billion for SmackDown.
Well, and I guess they do technically get more viewers, but like it's your flagship show. You debuted. You see the beginning of you see who Jade Cargill is, and now she's your NXT champion. Well, guess what? You now need to tune in to see what she's going to do next.
My only qualm with that, who the fuck in NXT is going to beat Jade Cargill?
You don't have to have anybody beat her.
Okay.
At least not in the short term, right?
I was saying, because I don't think there's another woman on that roster right now that I'd be like in the NXT roster where I'd be like, yep, that's the one.
But nobody beat
Asuka.
Nobody beat Asuka for a very long time, and we were fine with it.
Oh,
so
there he is.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I was heading home from work.
No, that's fine. So why would really why would this be no different? It would give, and you don't have to have her on TV defending the title all the time, so she can be working behind the scenes, like I'm sure she already is.
Correct.
And she can be out there with the vignettes, and things like that, so you can quietly work her into becoming a better wrestler, and then defending the title on these premium live events.
What title are we putting on her? I obviously missed the
NXT.
the NXT title.
My way I'm introducing Jade is Becky beats Tiffany Stratton in the Extreme Rules match next Saturday at No Mercy, and then on Monday Night Raw does another open challenge, and Jade comes out and beats her and wins the title.
Okay, so we're giving our own versions of like what we would do.
Yeah.
I got one for you. And
Go ahead.
Okay, this isn't how I would debut her necessarily. I still think Shaq and Cody and Brandy, but what I would do with her for the short term, long term. Okay. And this goes into something else that I was thinking about earlier today. And this might be a topic in and of itself. Maybe next week. Huh?
That's scary. You were thinking.
I don't think they necessarily at this moment have a big time match that's not obvious. And even that, I don't know how obvious it is, but I don't think they have a big time match right now for one of the biggest stars in the company for WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia. And that's Rhea Ripley. I think that on paper could be the biggest match that they could put Rhea in at WrestleMania this coming year. Because here she is, Jade Cargill, wrestling now for 3 years or whatever, has taken literally 2 losses at this point. Can come into WWE and continue to be undefeated. Now stacking up wins against much more impressive people in the WWE universe's eyes. You started out by beating Natalya and bullshit. Eventually you can give her wins against Charlotte or, anyone like that. But you can build her up to being this attraction that when you then put her on the other side of the ring from arguably the number 1 female attraction in the company right now in Rhea Ripley, I mean, just that image alone of the 2 of them standing across from each other in a 70,000 filled building, I feel like it sparks. I feel like it's fireworks waiting to happen. Not saying it's going to be a great match, but I feel like as an attraction, I think, and again, like I said, I don't know what else they have for Rhea right now. I don't feel like there's an obvious direction for Rhea, and there's always the Royal Rumble and stuff. But I don't feel like there's an obvious direction. I mean, hell, have Jade win the Royal Rumble. That's an easy way to get her there to WrestleMania. And that bitch strong. That bitch just threw out 29 other women.
I feel like Jade Cargill's going to walk into WrestleMania as a world champion. I think she walks in with the blue. I think she walks in with the blue title, and I think she fights the person that the spectacle is bigger than Rhea Ripley. And Joe, you mentioned her already. Give me that entrance versus Charlotte Flair's entrance.
Okay.
Give me a long ramp with the robe and all the fireworks, and give me the fucking storm entrance that we used to get from Jade Cargill. That spectacle alone. I don't need that to be a 15-minute match. I need that to be like an 8-minute match with 15-minute intros for both of them.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't need it to be long. And Rhea Ripley can beat a Becky Lynch. She could beat somebody along those lines, a Bianca Belair.
You know, it'd be crazy though.
Face Rhea Ripley versus Hurt Business Bianca Belair.
No, that would be good. But you know, it'd be crazy though. Just as another idea for Jade. Remember a few years ago? This is very ironic. I know someone who would remember when
The
Brock
anonymous Raw
Lesnar,
general manager.
when Brock Lesnar eliminated the first 15 guys in the Royal Rumble,
2020,
just one at a time.
Yeah, it was the guy who used to be on this show's favorite Royal Rumble ever.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. This is ironic. It's the first time I'm actually bringing this up in a real context. But you remember that?
How could I forget it? You talked about it every week.
What if Jade actually did it beginning to end? You've got 2 Royal Rumbles on the show, and I think you can get away with that in the women's one way sooner than you can in the men's one.
I don't like that. I think you kill your entire women's division if she runs through them all.
I mean, you could keep all the really big women out of it. Like put 1 or 2.
Buddy, you're not gonna have a Royal Rumble that isn't gonna have Becky, Asuka, Bianca, Charlotte if she's not the champion. Like you're gonna have to have those big names in the Royal Rumble. It's the Royal Rumble match. Like you're not gonna go out there and be like, all right, here's your 30 women battle royal. Here's Tori Wilson, Dawn Marie, Trish Stratus, Zoe Starks, Emma. You're I don't think you're getting that. I think it's the Royal Rumble is too big of a spectacle. And I'm telling you right now, if I buy tickets to the fucking Royal Rumble in fucking Tampa and I see a woman go wire to wire and have every fucking elimination, I will literally boo the rest of the fucking show. Fucking
fair enough.
Boo. I mean, to be honest with you, I would have, if Jade doesn't win a title leading into WrestleMania, have Charlotte win a title at some point, Elimination Chamber in Australia or whatever. I think the box office match is Charlotte versus Jade. I think Rhea does need a big opponent for WrestleMania. But like I said, I don't think that she's the first crack in the foundation. And maybe WrestleMania, the foundation will already have been broken for Judgment Day. But I also don't necessarily know that I think whoever Jade Cargill fights at WrestleMania is going to walk out of WrestleMania with a win. So do I want Rhea Ripley to win at WrestleMania, or do I want her to have the spectacle that is Jade Cargill?
Fair. That's fair.
So I mean that's kind of where I'm at. Where it's like I'd much rather. I don't need to see Charlotte win at WrestleMania. We've seen it enough.
Right.
I'm cool with Jade Cargill walking in as the challenger, walking in with the cool entrance, Charlotte coming out in the robe, looking like $1,000,000, and then losing to Jade Cargill, and Jade Cargill having her crowning moment in the middle of a 70,000 filled arena in Philadelphia, with that crowd going banana sandwich for a 7-minute match, because it would have meant that Charlotte Flair came and left before the breeze got cold, and literally now we can move on to whatever matches after it, because that match was only 7 minutes. But knowing Charlotte Flair, that match would be like a 35-minute match, and 7 minutes into it, I want to poke my own eyeballs out. But with that being said, I kind of lean towards where you're at, Jim, with put her in NXT for a little while, let her beat Becky Lynch, let her win the NXT title, let her go down there and have good matches with the Roxanne Perez's of the world, the who else is there? Tiffany Stratton's. Like there are certain wrestlers in NXT I think she could go down there and have some decent matches with. I would have said Cora Jade, but I think she's gone eventually. Cora the Explorer, as Joe so adequately called her. I think she'll be on the main roster sometime soon. So I honestly, the women's division down in NXT, not very deep. So that may be a problem, because it's one thing if Jade Cargill goes down there and beats like the Natties and the Tegan Knoxes, inevitably the return of Dakota Kai. Like if you put them down in NXT, it's one thing. But like right now, where it's like, oh yeah, she beat Valentina Lorenza. Who?
She could beat that. She could beat that chick with the unibrow. What's her name?
Oh, Lara Valkyrie.
Yes, that one.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch Jade Cargill run through Thea Hale, JC Jane, Gigi Dolan,
Well, the
and
one nice thing right now, and until NXT has a new TV home, is I think you're going to start to see, Natty show up down there, or Raquel
hell yeah.
show up down there. Like you're gonna be trying to get more eyes on the product while you're in this negotiation phase.
I mean, Becky's literally the women's champion right now, so yeah, I definitely think you're right about that.
Yeah, and then like I said,
hell yeah.
even beyond that, like once in my scenario where Jade defeats Becky and becomes the NXT champ. And here's the thing, like to the point, Mike, when you were saying like, well, who beats her? Well, honestly, I would love to see a point, because I think Jade can carry herself on a level where she defends it for long enough, and then is just like I'm beyond this.
What if she turns it in like they do the X Division title in Impact? Option C. You know what? Here, I would like a spot in the Royal Rumble instead.
Elsewhere.
I would like a spot in the Royal Rumble instead. You guys can take this shit.
Or honestly, no, even beyond that, what if it's how she ends up with a title match at WrestleMania? You know what I mean? Like, what if you have someone win the Rumble, you have a woman win the Rumble, and that woman goes after one belt? Let's say, let's go with Charlotte Jade at WrestleMania, because I actually really do love that as an option. So let's say, Charlotte's the SmackDown Women's Champion, whoever, Rhea's the Raw Women's Champion. Someone wins the Rumble, they go after Rhea. Charlotte's on SmackDown, I have no opponent, nobody's good enough to beat me, yada, yada, yada. Out comes Jade, your NXT Women's Champion, standing there being like, talk to some people. Option C, cashing it in. You got your opponent. No, make a title versus title or anything like that. Like,
no, let's Hogan Warrior this bitch.
You want to do title versus title? Charlotte's won the NXT title at WrestleMania before. So
let's Hogan Warrior this bitch. Let's
do a hell of a lot of cocaine and then kill some hookers. What?
Exactly. Title versus title. And then Jade walks out, and then she comes back on Tuesday night and goes, I don't have time for this.
Yeah.
Do with it what you want.
I fully enjoy. I think that would be the image of Charlotte Flair standing in the ring, being like, "I have nobody to defend this belt against." And then Jade coming out as the NXT Women's Champion. Like that moment would be such a highlight reel moment in and of itself. And I know we've seen variations of it already. I mean, every Charlotte Flair is kind of a variation of the same Charlotte Flair feud. So like we've seen versions of it before, but I think it'd work. I think it'd be awesome.
I can get behind it.
Yeah.
I think here's the thing. Inevitably, when Jade makes her debut, I think the next step of what they do with her after they debut will show you what the steps are for Jade Cargill's immediate future. If she comes in and wins the NXT title right away, it's okay. We know her in-ring work needs some work. Let's put her down there. Let's let her work with, the Shawn Michaels and the trainers that we have there. Let's fix this. Let's refine this. Let's get her ready for WrestleMania. If it's straight to the main roster, decimating people like Nia Jax just did, but on a blue brand instead of a Raw brand, then it's we may be rushing this way too quick, and that may sour some people, myself included, because I will tell you right now, I think Jade Cargill, the act, is impressive as hell. But I can't buy in the same way to Jade Cargill in ring.
Yeah.
I couldn't do the longer Jade Cargill matches when she had them in AEW because there was a shit ton of rest holds. And it's one of those things where
it's also a twofold situation too, where AEW's talent level isn't on the level of WWE's either. Like Jade's going to be in there, especially if when she gets to the main roster. She's going to be in there with Becky Lynch. She's going to be in there with Bayley. She's going to be in there with Io. She's going to be in there with Asuka. She's going to be in there with Charlotte. She's going to be in there with people that can get the absolute best out of her. And WWE knows how to book those matches better than Tony Khan.
Did either of you guys watch the match from Rampage last week? Because I haven't, but I've heard that it was possibly her best match in AEW.
I did not.
Okay.
The thing is working Friday, Saturdays, I don't catch up a lot on Rampage.
Yeah, fair.
Because I get home at whatever time, there's probably a college football game on that I'm watching, because I already know the results to Rampage because it's taped after Dynamite.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to read it if I'm not going to watch it. So, like, I already know what happened on this week's Rampage because I don't think I'm going to watch it this week. So it's like I know what happened.
I will not watch it this week.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not saying that to be mean to AEW, but
I'm only interested in watching it because it's at Arthur Ashe, because it's like the third hour of Grand Slam.
It's the third and the fourth hour. It's a 2-hour episode of Rampage.
I didn't even realize that. Yeah, no, like, and look, truth be told, I haven't watched Dynamite yet. I have it. Like, I'm going to watch it, and I'm off the next 2 days, so like, I actually will watch it. I have the time, but that's also probably why I will watch Rampage too. Like, that's if I had a busier week, or if this wasn't Grand Slam, I probably wouldn't care.
Yeah,
true.
I get it. Anything else on Jade Cargill?
No, I think I'm good.
Joseph?
Yeah, no, I think I've said everything.
Yeah, I think we're gonna move his topic to next week. I think
you jaded it. All right, cool. So wrestlers of the week then.
Yeah, I like it.
All right, I'm gonna go first. I will not pick Rick Knox for making John Moxley take that second fucking pile driver, even though he was fucking unconscious, basically. We have to find a way to do better. Fucking CTE is real, motherfuckers. Can we not have people having to take unnecessary bumps?
Also, if a guy doesn't kick out,
count the fucking fall.
Count the fall.
Yeah.
Don't stop the count. Like, Tony Khan is 18-time Booker of the Year on Wrestling Observer Newsletter. Like, if your official can't figure out that a guy shouldn't be wrestling anymore, there's your first problem. If somebody in the back can't figure it out and radio into the referee's ear, that's another problem. But if a guy can't kick out or a guy forgets to kick out, hit the 3 and let the Booker of the Year figure it out.
Yeah.
Do a rematch next Wednesday.
JR actually said that in his first book. I forget what the name of it was, but I remember reading it. And, he started his career as a referee when he was really young. And he said that, I think it was Bill Watts who maybe said it to him, where pulled him aside and was like, listen, you count, this is meant to look real. If someone doesn't kick out, you count to 3. And JR was like, well, what if they're not the one that's supposed to win the match? And he was like, then they should have kicked out.
Yeah.
You count to 3.
Right.
That's just it. It's meant. This is wrestling is an act, but it's meant to look real.
Right. I get the referee's part of the show. I get that. And but at the end of the day, the referee's job is to count. So it's only going to make your referee look bad and your whole show look bad if your referee is going at this pace.
Yeah.
And then the guy starts going down for the 3, sees dude's shoulder not coming up, and just stops and then goes, oh no, he kicked out. No, he fucking didn't.
Yeah.
Hundreds or tens of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people, because I saw they did 928,000 people watching that on TV, and the 13 people or whatever that watched it live at Arthur Ashe saw that Jon Moxley did not kick out.
For the tens in attendance.
For the tens and
the thousands.
WNBA? Sorry, no, I'm just kidding. But everybody saw Moxley didn't kick out, man. Everybody saw no, Moxley didn't kick out. He didn't. So
keep counting, and
you now make Rey Fenix's title win look like shit.
Yeah, and then you make Rey Fenix drop him on his fucking head again.
Oh God!
What the fuck are we doing?
Before then, he was concussed before then, and now you, Stone Cold Steve Austin him twice.
Where do you think he got the concussion?
I don't know. I didn't watch a second of Dynamite last night.
Because somebody posted a video. There was 3 particular spots where he could have got it.
Tim and Ryan said they think it happened. There was a bump to the outside of
the plancha,
ramp.
the plancha where he got the running head start off the ramp.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting how AEW is this company where there's always something on every show to overshadow the positives.
The part of the main event where Adam Cole randomly was at the hospital with a deceased Roderick Strong, runs down and then rolls his fucking ankle, jumping from the fucking WCW platform entrance ramp, and almost can't get to the fucking spot where he's supposed to be cheering for Max because he's limping so heavily for doing a stupid fucking spot.
Why did he have to run and jump?
Yeah. Fucking run down 8 seconds earlier and hit the fucking stairs like a normal
also
human.
Because they have the stupid ramps. Their ramps are dumb. There's a reason that there's a reason WWE's ramps stop, 10 to 12 feet before the ringside area.
That's the literally reason. Got a running head start, and I watched his ankle do this. And I'm like, ooh, no.
I'm a fat man. I know what that feels like.
Yeah, +1, bud. Yeah. I felt it, and I started grabbing my ankle, and I'm like, I'm like that little ball may have literally just scraped the ground.
Yeah.
I was like, oh God. My God, how does his ankle go that way?
It hurts.
Yeah. It's like the Peter Griffin.
Anyway, wrestlers of the week.
I'm taking Eddie Kingston, new Ring of Honor World Champion.
That one was easy. That was
all at me. Jim?
Let's go Joe go second. I'll give him the
okay, Joe.
The most
before you fall asleep.
Can I take Adam Cole's ankle?
What,
no, I'll take
good one?
The one that didn't roll.
I'm assuming MJF retained his title, so I'm gonna take MJF.
Maxwell.
I will take new X Division champion last week from Impact 1000, Chris Sabin, but also fun little fact that Ryan pointed out on 3CT this week, episode 1 and episode 1000. Chris Sabin was on both.
Yeah, I
Oh,
did.
I love
I saw that on Twitter.
Super cool.
I kind of feel like I need to save Ray Phoenix for Joe because I don't know that he'll know anybody else that's wrestled this week. So hold on, let me go over here and look at some stuff. Oh, did you guys know that America's Most Wanted wrestled on Impact Wrestling tonight?
I did not.
It was the two of them and Team Canada's Eric Young and Scott D'Amore against The Design, Kenny King, and Sheldon Jean.
All right.
I knew Kenny King.
Yeah, I knew Kenny King.
Kenny King.
I wonder how Impact is these days. I actually feel like I should check it out.
I've been watching on the Roku channel because I have a Roku TV, as you can see behind me.
Yeah.
And the Roku channel, there's actually like an Impact channel on there.
Like the random, like they
No,
just throw random shit on?
sometimes you'll get a pay-per-view that happened a month and a half ago.
Really?
Yeah, like it's not in any kind of order. So like that kind of sucks, but it's like,
Do they show
all
older
right.
stuff too?
Yeah.
Like a lot older? Like are we talking Asylum days or are we talking
Yeah.
really?
Yep.
Shit.
You know what? Let me go with
Jesus.
I'm literally trying to find someone that's not gonna screw the rest of this up. I will take. You know what? Fuck it. She retained her women's title and got kissed on the lips by Toni Storm. I will take Saraya.
Apparently I'm taking Ray Phoenix.
I mean, you don't have to, but I was trying to save it just in case because
Nah, I was thinking
watch
about taking I don't know anybody else.
I'll go with the guy who about broke the internet on Friday night. 103 million social media hits and counting. The Rock.
Oh, I thought you were going to take Pat McAfee.
I could have taken Pat McAfee, but yeah, I'll go with The Rock on this one.
Old Patty Mac. All right, so that's Wrestlers of the Week. Want to hit on anything else before we kick rocks?
Nah, man, I think I'm good.
Joe?
Yeah, nah, we'll do my WrestleMania topic probably next week. Or I feel like that's an interesting one. There's potential there, but I do want to talk about Rhea and her potential WrestleMania plans because I feel like, especially with Elimination Chamber a month earlier in her home country, like she's gonna be on display there. I don't know. It's interesting. I think
You say she won't be in one of the main events.
Maybe that would be crazy.
Yeah, because I mean, she's already 100 and some odd days as champ. So I mean, she's gonna be looking at a year by the time Mania season. So could certainly be a main eventer.
Mm-hmm.
Joe doesn't have anything that we're gonna let him plug because of certain reasons.
But
Jim.
At Big Jim Sports is my Twitter. Hit the link tree there. You'll find 3CT live show from this past week where we talked a lot about the WWE releases. We also talked about potential for Rock and Roman at WrestleMania this upcoming Tuesday. It is another Tuesday episode. Boy, dear God, do we have some fun with this one. You'll want to tune into this Tuesday because we have a very interesting poll, and I'll say it here. I'm right. The rest of those fuckers are wrong. So stay tuned for that one. And Huddle Up Podcast. We had another weekly show this week. I dropped in observations again. So that channel is cooking. Mike had the fantasy show on there. So make sure you're following along there. And Discussions with a Nobody. Probably I'll get another one of those coming up here in a couple of weeks. But bottom line, hit the link tree. That's where you'll find everything that I got going on with me. And it is right there on my Twitter page.
You can follow the show at Take the Number 3 Wrestling. You can follow me on Twitter at atTheycallmebern. Otherwise, guys, we appreciate you hanging out with us as always. A lot of fun going on. Jim already mentioned the FKC Fantasy Hour on Huddle Up Incorporated. 5 for Fighting starting up soon again as we are getting ready for opening face-offs of hockey. Can't wait for that.
Games start this weekend, bruh.
I know. Super excited about that. We'll talk some hockey. Also, Sunny Days and Double Plays, a Palm Beach baseball podcast. My baseball season starts in approximately 2 days, so got some fun stuff going on with that. So we're going to talk some baseball on that. But otherwise, guys, I only have one more thing to tell you. Don't turn your back on the Wolf Pack. If you do, you might end up in a body bag.